Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hey guys, how you going? Who have we got here? Deb, how you going? Luna, how you going? Paul, how you going? Yeah, I saw you in whatever chat. Yeah, I'm in there. Someone gifted me a membership too, which is always good. I have been gifted a membership on whatever for the last year, I think. It's amazing actually. And I go in there and give everyone heaps. Deb J, how you going? Sherry, how you going? Dee Lee, how you going? Mrs. Out to Lunch, how you going? Virginia, how you going? Who else have we got in here? Dee Lee, did I say hello, Dee Lee? Virginia, yep, I did. Okay. Couple of things. It seems that the pipes have actually collapsed at the front of the house where the trees are. The trees got into the pipes and have ripped them apart, apparently. That's what happens. They go in tiny, and as they absorb moisture, they expand and they push things apart. That's what roots of trees and plants do. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. They're either going to raise the rent to pay for it, I believe. I hope they don't. But I think they might. Or they might evict me and get someone else in for much more. I don't know what's going to happen. Or they may just do it. I don't know. So I'm going to have to wait and see what happens with the drainage problem we have. And also, I have a little chicken problem. Guys with chickens, mites and what are the other things? Lice. I have to go and purchase a few things today. I've been cleaning out their pen this morning. Oh, my poor chickens. One of them doesn't look well. That's how I noticed. She hasn't been going into the pen at night time. She doesn't want to go in there. And she just sits there. And I've had to pick her up a few times and put her in there. And last night when I picked her up and put her in there, my sleeve had all these things all over it. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, I've got to go shopping after this, so I won't be on for too long today. But I wanted to come on and just fill you in as much as I can. Wow, okay. Oh, it's all going off. And then my grandson ended up in hospital having a fit. Oh, my goodness. No, sorry. He was going for a blood test. And when they took because he goes white when they take blood, right? So he had a white out, we call it. And then he started convulsing and then he vomited. So we think he passed out, I think. But my daughter said he had a bit of a convulsions during it. So I don't know what happened there. But oh my God, it's all going on. Anyway, let's get into the news now. Enough about me. Matt Smith said, buckle up. There's a massive move happening in the gold market that almost no one's talking about. Huge physical deliveries, shortages in London, gold flowing into the US at record levels. Someone with deep pockets is scooping up gold, likely the US Treasury or Fed. Why? The theory, they're preparing for a full-on gold audit, meaning they're reshoring gold they might have leased out. Once audited, that gold could form the backbone of the new monetary system. This could signal a seismic shift in the dollar's status and value. The end game, a major devaluation of the US dollar to reset America's global competitiveness. Think back to 1971, Nixon shutting down the gold window, or 1985, the Plaza Accord. This time it might be even bigger. Some call it the Mar-a-Lago Accord. Tariffs are key. They aren't just about steel, aluminium, or stopping fentanyl. They're the cudgel to force other countries to accept a new currency regime. The US wants to drive down the dollar's value versus the yuan, euro, yen, etc. to boost exports and domestic industry. Meanwhile, Trump's team is talking up the Sovereign Wealth Fund. This means turning America's natural resources, mineral rights and strategic assets into equity. Suddenly the US balance sheet doesn't look so terrible. But watch for inflation because that's the plan too. Inflation crushes current debts, government and private, but it also punishes everyday people with higher prices. The bet is wages will rise too, thanks to new industrial policies like forcing profits to be reinvested in the US and nod to China's model, ironically. If it goes right, we end up with gold-back or partially gold-back currency, new capital controls, and a two-tier dollar, domestic versus international. The Fed could even get scrapped, replaced by something like stablecoin tech, but with gold in the vault. Wild, right? This is either a brilliant adult solution to an unsustainable debt spiral or a step towards a heavily managed non-free market system. Possibly both. Either way, the message, something must change or the whole thing breaks, so they're doing it. If you're a regular person holding physical gold as the hedge against a collapsing dollar, expect big changes in trade, currency rules and prices for everything. The move could be fast. The 70s had staggering inflation. This time might be more dramatic. Bottom line, prepare for a major monetary reset, one that's orchestrated, they hope, rather than chaotic. These aren't half-baked theories. You can see it in gold flows, Trump's policy picks, the talk of sovereign wealth fund and looming forced reevaluation. Stay alert. Keep eye on gold, tariffs and any rumblings about auditing US reserves. Inflation is coming by design. The old system is toast. Time for what might be the biggest economic shake-up since 1971. Ignore it at your own risk. Some sources to help you understand the plan. A user's guide to reconstructing the global trading system by Stephen Moran, Trump economy advisor. October interview with Howard Lutnick, Trump Commerce Secretary nominee, time stamped, to explaining how the Sovereign Wealth Fund will be used. Gold price needed to back each country's monetary aggregates in USD. And he explained it all in this podcast yesterday. There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to retweet retweet this? Repost, sorry. It's not Twitter anymore, is it? Oh, my goodness. Sean said, did I just hear that White House press briefing question correctly? $2.7 trillion in improper Medicare, Medicaid payments to people overseas who weren't entitled to the benefit? This cannot be real. The entire national debt is $36 trillion. And you're telling me you sent checks for $2.7 trillion to people overseas? I'm telling you right now, by the time we're done with these audits, we'll find at least $36 trillion worth of waste, fraud, and abuse. The entire national debt is waste, fraud, and abuse. Wow. He said, on top of that, how long have we been debating Medicare, Medicaid insolvency? No wonder it's going insolvent. You're writing checks to the entire global population. That's just lunacy. Sean said, the words to describe how I'm feeling right now simply do not exist in the English language. Holy cow, is all I can say. Wow, the US could be so rich if they don't do all this. Oh, pretty glad Trump's taken it out. Amuse said, FBI, if you need more evidence that Kash Patel's going to have a lot of work to do cleaning house at the FBI, you're in luck. The FBI is now claiming it had an absolute right to allow Jeffrey Epstein to run his sex trafficking operation. Yes, you heard that right. FBI had a right to allow Jeffrey Epstein to run his sex trafficking operation. Anyway, take this all with a grain of salt. Everyone mentioned here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and everything here is alleged until proven truth. Okay, a group of Jeffrey Epstein victims is suing the FBI for allowing his sex trafficking network to thrive unchecked, but last week the Bureau sought to dismiss the case, arguing it had the discretion to do so. Epstein's operation has been long suspected of supplying blackmail material to intelligence agencies, reinforcing suspicions that the government had vested interests in shielding him. There you go. Okay. DOQ said bloodlines mean everything to the evil side, and they've kept us from knowing about ours. Think about what that means. That the elite are the lowest of the low and we are higher than them, all of us. The White Rabbit podcast said, breaking, the Australian government is disseminating racial hatred videos to media to incite a holy war in Australia to usher in digital ID. We see you, liars. Because something has happened, I've got it further down in bookmarked, that there is footage of two Muslims apparently telling a Jewish guy, and they work for the hospital, right, the Bankstown Hospital, apparently, allegedly, and they are telling this Jewish guy who is supposed to be booked in for an operation that they kill all the Jews. They have killed Jews and that they will keep doing it. Yeah, I think this is getting a bit, ridiculous. Barron Trump News said Operation Red Folder. I wonder what that means. Operation Red Folder. Nothing can stop what's coming. It's emergency action documents. It's called PEDS. Understand it. This is why they've been after our great president for the last 4 years. Now they face the wrath of hell that is going to defend them. Still missing your real name. Good gig you're running through. Okay. Okay, this person is questioning them. Exactly, I want a photo of today's newspaper. If not, he's a larp. Okay. Interesting. Never know. Ungovernable, said watch. Hang on, I'm still in someone's actual post. Let me get out of here. I don't know, we'll see. Colin Ruggs said new footage released showing Tennessee security guard calmly taking down an attempted mass shooter in Chattanooga. I can't see anything in this. A gunman started firing at a group of people outside the Dream nightclub when the guard jumped into action. The man who fired into the crowd was hit by a secondary guard before he could take any more lives. Head of security Joe Reed thinks the attack was planned, revealed security footage of the 24-year-old suspect parking his car down the road before attacking. It was quick action by our licensed security guard who did what he had to do to protect innocent lives, said Reid. The suspect was injured with non-life-threatening injuries. Okay, and I can't, I'm not going to show it, but I've looked at the footage. I can't see a security guard in the footage, but that might just be me on my small phone. Okay, Rob Roy said home invasion with a machete out on bail. Hurt someone's feelings with your words, 7 years prison. Australia. Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Australians versus the Agenda said breaking the electoral reform bill has passed the Senate, effectively entrenching the Labor-Liberal duopoly by limiting competition. So what they've done is pass another bill that says that only Labor and Liberal can receive donations. 27 said yes, 19 said no. Unbelievable. We'll see what happens. The whole thing's about to blow open. Charlie Kirk said breaking a federal judge has ruled that President Trump does in fact have constitutional authority to freeze or limit certain federal funding. This means the Trump White House can withhold funding without the district court's prior approval. There you go. Wall Street Ape said, whoa, James O'Keefe just got a policy advisor at the US Treasury to admit on camera that Treasury employees are defying Elon Musk's Doge. He even says Doge and Elon Musk are, and I quote, risks to national security. Wow, he means risks to their fraud. Definitely. I'm going to retweet that one too. Proud Army Brat said 80-year-old Dem Rep Emmanuel Cleaver loses it, screaming, Elon Musk, you get your musty hands off our money or go to Moscow. You musty moo. What the fuck? That money is ours, the taxpayers. Yeah, not his. Okay, let's have a listen.
Now, I'm going to be quick because I want to send a message to somebody. Elon, take your musty millions and musty Moscow rights to the moon. Because if you don't, we're going to stand up, we're going to speak out, we're going to march, we're going to do anything we need to do to make sure that the people of this country understand that the CFPB is for them. You get your musty hands off of our money or go to Moscow, you musty moon.
That's very adult of him, I'm sure. Very mature. I don't even know what that last bit meant. But anyway, he thinks it's his money. He does. Even though he said, that this thing helps the people. No, they're raking it in. Libs of TikTok said Tulsi Gabbard confirmed as Director of National Intelligence. In a 52-48 vote, the only Republican who voted no was Mitch McConnell, who's now allegedly in a wheelchair and barely functional. But he's hanging in there to get wheeled in and out of Congress so he can vote against Trump's agenda. What a piece of shit, says Cat Turd. Unbelievable. He's getting wheeled in and out. This is what they do to them. They tell them how to vote. They send them in a wheelchair or get them to sign from their hospital bed. Now, what some men have to put up with, it's not just women. Aussie Bot said I was also woken up to punches in the head after she deleted all the pics of bite marks and scratches on my phone. She then recorded my response, which included bad words only, and tried to use that against me in court. In court, it fell apart when admitted that she bashed me on several occasions for 8 years with never any consequences. Megawatt said evidence means shit also. I got bashed while asleep and attacked with weapons too many times to count. The domestic violence laws in Australia make USAID look like a legitimate enterprise. This is insane. No one, and I mean no one, male or female, should get away with domestic violence. Oh my goodness. Oh. Ian Carroll said Tulsi Gabbard is officially in charge of the American intelligence community. Let's go. I can't wait. Because it's more news is coming out right now as I speak. I believe they're having another press conference. The secretary, I keep forgetting her name, Pam Bondi. Malcolm Roberts said, breaking digital health ID, attempting to be rushed through Senate. The government is attempting to rush through laws that would force sensitive My Health record information to be shared to the central government database by default. This was always meant to be voluntary. Not anymore. They're going hard. Got to wake the Australians up. You can try, but honestly, they'll still laugh at you, even if they think they're awake. The notices said a lying, high-ranking Sydney cop who downed 20 drinks, crashed his police vehicle, abandoned it at the scene and tried to cover it up his escape with a $1,500 fine. He also had his name suppressed by the courts for 40 years. Oh, he'll probably be dead by then. I wonder how old he is. If he's in his 40s, he might be dead in another 40 years by the time they release his name. That's how it happens here in Australia, by the way. They lock things up like the pedo list in Parliament. They've locked it up for 75 years. Senator Babette said the Labor Party and the Liberal Party have joined forces to pass a bill which will have the effect of limiting donations to minor parties. This 400-plus page bill is being rushed through the Senate with almost no debate. It's blatant power grab designed to entrench control for the major parties and shut out minor parties from holding them accountable. To make matters worse, the government tabled 8 amendments at the 11th hour and the minister won't even explain to the Senate what they do. The Senate is broken. It is no longer a house of review. It's a rubber stamp for the major parties. Democracy in Australia is an illusion. Exactly. The leading report said breaking Cincinnati Children's Hospital denies VP J.D. Vance's 12-year-old relative a heart transplant because she's not jabbed, as per New York Post. Wow. Drew Pavlou said, if you want to know how Australian multiculturalism is going, 2 Islamic extremist nurses in Australia recorded themselves at work in hospitals saying they had killed Jewish patients and would kill more Jewish patients in the future. If we don't address this, Australia is doomed. And this is what we were talking about with this being like to incite racial wars. But not just that, I think this is to wake people up. Because you can't have 2 opposing beliefs in the same country thinking it's going to be okay. I mean, I came to Australia and I don't care about Catholic or Protestant trouble in Ireland. Well, I do care about the Irish people, but I'm here in Australia. I'm not into that. I'm not bringing it with me, and you shouldn't. Okay, anyway, whether this is a setup or not, and there are hints to suggest it might be, it'll pretty much open Australians' eyes because now this hate speech thing has come in. What are they going to do about it? They're going to deport these people back? This is a big test for them. Elon Musk retweeted Donald Trump. I just had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. We discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, the power of the dollar and various other subjects. We both reflected on the great history of our nations and the fact that we fought so successfully together in World War II, remembering that Russia lost tens of millions of people and we likewise lost so many. We each talked about the strengths of our respective nations and the great benefit that we will someday have in working together. But first, as we both agreed, we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia-Ukraine. President Putin even used my very strong campaign motto of common sense. We both believe very strongly in it. We agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. We have also agreed to our respective teams start negotiations immediately, and we will begin by calling President Zelensky of Ukraine to inform him of the conversation, something which I'll be doing right now. I have asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of CIA John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Ambassador and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to lead the negotiations, which I feel strongly will be successful. Millions of people have died in a war that would not have happened if I were president, but it did happen, so it must end. No more lives should be lost. I want to thank President Putin for his time and effort with respect to this call, and for the release yesterday of Mark Fogel, a wonderful man that I personally greeted last night at the White House. I believe this effort will lead to a successful conclusion, hopefully soon. There you go. Z Media officials said, okay, let's have a look. Senator Babette said 2 men among first charged under Australia's tough hate crime laws are military veterans, one of them being a war memorabilia collector. Article says he was waving a Nazi flag. He says he was simply showing a friend, also a veteran, his war memorabilia collection. He now faces prison in Australia for this. Holy guacamole. Well, I hope they hold the other two accountable. Okay, logic versus emotions. Replying to Rep. Jayapal, who said, the people didn't vote for you to cut off cancer research funding. Oh, my God, they're still banging on. Musk said the people are going to get what they voted for. Logic versus emotions said, I had many family members pass away from the big C. It's been over 60 years plus of research and money donations with the pink ribbon crap and so much money putting into finding cures for it. And where are we now? Still using the same old technology with chemo and not even close to finding any cure. You people are money laundering criminals. Worst part is you pretend to care and pretend to find cures. It's all bullshit because we all know that there's no money in making cures, but there's money in treatment. Okay? And this person is right. You know those pink ribbons? Yeah. Don't. Okay? The whole thing, I believe, is going to change. The whole health system's going to change. It won't be needed the way it is now. They won't need to pour all that money into it. Watch what happens. Topher Fields said, I bet these aren't the people Albo and Peter Dutton had in mind when they rammed through the hate speech laws. They were thinking of people who looked more like me. Turns out maybe they didn't think it through. Well, Mr. Albanese, show us what you've got. These people were explicitly making credible threats of violence on the base of race, and explicit and credible threats of violence are unacceptable even in a libertarian free speech framework. If you cause someone to live in credible fear, in this case fear of going to the hospital for treatment, then you've violated their rights. It's not a free speech issue anymore. It's about our right to life and liberty. Will you follow through, Albo, or are you too worried about marginal seats in Sydney? Okay, these are apparently the people who got busted, but there is questions, I don't know. Anna Pauline Luna said, pay attention to those with large followings arguing against declassification or attempting to undermine efforts. These are bad actors. They exist on both sides. A, POTUS declassified, meaning it will be available public to all of you very soon. B, will be conducting investigations and deep diving into new info. C, the American people deserve transparency. We'll be using every avenue we have to get this to you guys. D, do your own research into the declassified records. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Where have we heard sunlight is the best disinfectant from? A board, maybe? I think so. Woke preacher clips. United Methodist pastor wonders why Doge can't just let the USAID money keep flowing while they do their audit of federal spending. Real kicker is the final quote. As United Methodists, we partner with USAID, of course you do, through the United Methodist Committee on Relief. We are able to send food and supplies to war-torn regions in the world because we work in conjunction with our government. I believe if we're concerned about this money not going where it's supposed to go, that we can do a financial audit and feed the hungry at the same time. I think that's doable. I believe that one role of the government is to allow the church to do the work of the church. We need it. We can't go into a war-torn region safely. We need what the government can offer to do the work of the... Oh, you just dobbed yourself right in now, haven't you, mate? Oh, my God. I don't know why. I've bookmarked this. I don't know who Colton Blake is, but said, if you're not a Democrat, please say hi. You'll thank me later. So I said hi. John McGowan said the Bankstown Hospital video is obviously bad. Everyone involved should be deported, not just fired. But how did that video, recorded by a lower mid-tier Israeli TikToker, even happen? It was posted on Max Vifa's TikTok 7 hours ago. 7 hours from a foreign language TikTok account to every mainstream media outlet in Australia and in front of the government. 7 effing hours. We have two problems in this country right now. The fact that Australian government has imported millions of exponents of third world culture is the first. That can be undone. The second is we have zero protection from foreign interference, literally none. Australia's become a playground for foreign actors, some obviously hostile, some merely insidious, but none in the national interest. And I tend to agree with this. Okay? Like the video's bad, okay, yep. But, yeah, we don't know who's doing what and who's playing who here. Okay? Just so everyone knows. I'm just giving both sides of everything, okay? As much as I can anyway. Senator Matt Canavan said congratulations to Macquarie Bank for being the first Aussie bank to leave the failing net zero banking alliance. We have one bank who's backed out of the net zero banking alliance. Let's hope all our banks get back to supporting all Australian businesses to make our country stronger. This should be their sole focus. Yeah, they're going to have to do more than that to get me on liking any bloody bank for a start. The Vigilant Fox said news. CNN pushes the narrative that Elon Musk pushed Donald Trump to the side and Trump seemed annoyed by it. He, Elon, and his child were the centre of attention. Who was the one standing, taking most of the questions, having the president in this odd, jarring setting, looking up to him? Well, it was Elon. This was Musk's first press conference since Trump's election, and he took over Trump literally. You know, in all these images, kind of looked like he'd been pushed off to the side because Elon was the centre of it. I mean, at times, Trump seemed annoyed. I mean, it wasn't just that Musk dominated. He did speak for about 20 of the 32 minutes, so about 63.5% if you're counting at the time. It was that Musk physically owned the entire event. Oh, dear God, woman. The media is obsessed with this power struggle narrative instead of addressing Musk's warning about government spending. Why are they so desperate to distract from what really matters? That is not what's going on. Trump would have told Elon to have speak, you know. You're going to speak and you're going to, you know, tell him what you're doing. Spitfire said, gotta say, I'm really surprised to hear Lindsay say this. USAID is an agency that let us all down, said Lindsey Graham. What? What I've seen makes me sick to my stomach. The reason USAID is going to cease to exist as it did before is because it should. Holy shit, never thought we'd live to see that day. Okay. The Road Knights said they weren't stolen, they were rescued from abuse, neglect, or because they'd been rejected by their families for being half-caste. If in the past they were stolen in order to turn them white, why are more removed now than before? It's been almost a whole generation. Survivors call on government to act. They want reparations. Moreover, on the subject of reparations and compensations, states like Victoria have paid each individual $100,000 without the need for them to prove they were actually stolen, and billions a year for 50-plus years could be considered reparations paid in full. And this is obviously claiming that they took them off to turn them white, took them off their parents to turn them white. No, they were rescued. I'm telling you now. Holy shit, it's all going on. Megatron said breaking Benjamin Netanyahu has officially terminated the agreement with Hamas and changed his demands. He now says if Hamas does not release the hostages by Saturday, 12 o'clock, the ceasefire will end, which is completely contrary to what was agreed under Trump's pressure. Let's see what happens with this. This is going to get interesting. He's not happy. He's not happy about Gaza being taken away from him. I'm telling you now. He is not happy. Okay, I wonder if they'll start a war. Concerned citizens said Emmanuel Macron deliberately ignores Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the AI summit in Paris. He walks straight... Sorry. He goes straight past the guy. Look, watch, hang on. See? The bloke went to shake his hand and he just ignores him. How rude. Macron, little Macron. Elon Musk said yes. Mike Lee said impeach corrupt judges. Oh, interesting. Yep, let's go. Nayib Bukele said that's exactly what judges are doing in El Salvador in 2021, so we impeached them all and proceeded to fix the country. Wow, interesting. Yep. White House Post said, are you ready for the greatest event in history? I'm waiting. Are you waiting? Are you on the edge of your seat? Ah. Another one bites the dust, and another one's gone, and another one's gone, another one bites the dust. Elon said one of the things USAID was doing was offering free circumcisions throughout the world, but charging US taxpayers ridiculously high prices. I decided to compete for the business. Harry Bowles, Elon Musk, circumcisions at a discount, now 50% off. I'm sure he's having a bit of a laugh there. How you going, Eric? Sybil, how you going? Starchild, how you going? Kevin, how you going? Randy. Joanne, how you going? Stuart, how you going? Sybil, how you going? Have I got everyone? I think I do. Good to see you guys. Clandestine said, look, I understand many of you are ready for the revelations to happen right now and want to rip the Band-Aid off, but it's not that easy. If we reveal everything at once, things will be missed by the public. We have to disseminate everything in digestible chunks. We are already moving at lightning speed. We're 3 weeks into Trump's term and he's already deployed the military to secure the border, began mass deportations, is negotiating ends to wars around the globe, purged the US aid and exposed the largest money laundering scheme, transnational criminal enterprise in human history. We're off to a great start and Trump hasn't even gotten his most important cabinet positions confirmed yet. In other words, be patient. The deep state purge is already well underway and is happening faster than we thought it would. I understand many of us have been waiting for years, if not decades, for justice and transparency, but we've only got one shot at this and we have to do it right. Yep. I agree, actually. As much as I'm impatient and I do want it all to come out, but I wouldn't be able to keep up. So I'd be missing things, and therefore if I'm missing things, other people would be missing things too, I'm sure. Okay, Brian Cates said, who had gimme 500 million and I'll rat out Q and tell you who it is on their 2025 bingo card. Seriously, if you think Ron Watkins know who the Q team is, you're retarded. He doesn't know. If a patriot knew who it was, they would never tell you, not even for 500 million. This whole thing is beyond retarded. Apparently Ron Watkins, I don't know, maybe has said, give him 500 million and he'll tell you who it is. I don't know. You can count the people who have the full picture on 2 hands. Of those less than 10 people, only 3 are non-military. Why is this relevant? Game theory. Outside of a potential operator who's been dialed in with orders. Specific to his or her mission, nobody else has this information. Operators never divulge. Alice in Wonderland. Future dumps here. Secured interaction to continue on dedicated research. Board suggests new board created. Current BOs claiming private comms and self-promoting. Patriots point we will follow. There you go. Yeah, I don't know, but apparently Ron Watkins is going around telling people he can tell them who it is. Dimaceous Earth for the mites, yep. I think I might have to get a spray as well out to lunch. Because one of them, I think, is covered in them. Tom Quiggin said Trump about to hit Canada with Category 5 hurricane. You won't see it coming, warn insiders. Fentanyl is just a cover for what's really going on. What's wrong is massive money laundering by the Chinese Communist Party on a huge scale, reveals Mark Cohodes. Not sure how that's said, sorry. Legend short seller and investor. In a powerful roundtable discussion, Cohodes joins Canada's investigative journalist Sam Cooper and our own Daniela Cambone to expose the deep-rooted corruption, money laundering and lack of accountability plaguing Canada. Interesting. Okay, I think we're all about to see a bit of a hurricane. Hurricane Trump. Benny Johnson said, breaking, this is big. Senior DHS official has just confirmed to me that FEMA's financial chief officer, Mary Comans, was just fired for illegally funding migrant luxury hotels in New York City against the orders of President Trump. Comins is arguably the most powerful person at FEMA, controlling billions in funding. Effective immediately, FEMA is terminating the employment of 4 individuals for circumventing leadership to unilaterally make egregious payments for luxury New York City hotels for migrants. Firings include FEMA's chief financial officer, 2 program analysts, blah, 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 and her grant specialist. Under President Trump and Secretary Noam's leadership, DHS will not sit idly and allow deep state activists to undermine the will and safety of the American people. This is an earthquake, so they're metaphors, hurricanes, earthquakes, you know, for things that are going on. Rad said, so are you confessing that non-Muslim people aren't safe in hospitals? In response to Albo saying, the anti-Semitic video circulating today is disgusting. The comments are vile. The footage is sickening and shameful. These anti-Semitic comments driven by hate have no place in our health system and no place anywhere in Australia. These individuals have been stood down by New South Wales Authority. They've been rightly referred to the New South Wales Police for criminal investigation. Individuals found to have committed criminal anti-Semitic acts will face the full force of our laws. And this is another reason why I think it's fake. Okay? These people, Australian doctors will kill... I'll let you listen to it, actually. Have a listen.
You know what? Oh, shit.
How are you, man?
Good, how are you, my man?
Pretty good. Are you a nurse, a doctor?
I'm a doctor, my man.
A doctor? For what?
In hospital. What about you? Where you from?
I'm from Israel, from the Holy Land.
You know what? I'm gonna be really honest with you.
All right.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. You actually got a really, really beautiful eyes.
Thank you, man.
I'm so upset that you're Israeli. Like, eventually you're gonna get killed and you're gonna go to Jahannam, inshallah. Like, these pretty eyes, they should stay in this world for longer.
Why do you think? Why do you think I'm gonna get killed?
It's Palestine's country, not your country. You piece
how are
of
you?
shit.
What's your name?
One day,
one day,
your time will come and you will die the most.
We spread
listen to me.
peace.
Listen to me.
And you spread
when your
death.
time comes.
How are you, doctors? Wait.
I want you to remember my face.
Okay,
so
okay.
You can understand
Gotcha.
That you will
I have a question
the most
though.
disgusting death.
All right, for sure. I have a question though.
Yeah,
I have a question. Let's say an Israeli. God forbid.
I won't treat them. I'll kill them.
You'll kill them? So if an Israeli is in Australia and God forbid something happened to him and he comes to your hospital,
I hope to God.
would you kill him?
You have no idea how many Israeli Khara dog came to this hospital and I sent him to Jahannam. I literally sent him to Jahannam.
Okay, so that's what was said allegedly, right? But is he going to send them back? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know about this. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. And Rad said, so are you confessing that non-Muslim people aren't safe in hospitals? Crazy. Rational Aussie said, when Australia eventually suffers a financial crisis because of the absolute brain-dead property Ponzi policies implemented by our alleged representatives in government, you will remember my tweets, and you will remember this was all pathetically predictable. They sold us out. They sold out this country for their own gains. That's corruption, plain and simple. The next generation's been dealt a horrendous hand, but the good news is they'll be so disgusted by the sheer immorality of what is currently happening in Australia that they will destroy it for good and then rebuild. No one sane is playing these property Ponzi games anymore, if not because of the pure irrationality of it, then because financially they can't. It's all beyond their reach now. Good luck convincing an 18-year-old Zoomer about to enter uni who will see their career taken by AI before they even graduate that their future is renting a dog box with a bunch of immigrants who don't share the same cultural values they grew up with. They will revolt. Yes, they will. But unfortunately, you've kind of got to... People have to wake up. Simple as that. That's all. People have to wake up. The opinionated black woman auntie said they can fuck right off with this shit, and once they get there, they can fuck right off again. How many cows will be killed during this study just so they can try and stop their natural digestive system from doing what it does to fight an invisible enemy that doesn't exist? Cow vaccines will generate antibodies in its saliva. The saliva then targets bacteria in the cow's stomach to stop the methane. Watch all the cows blow up. That's what I think is going to happen. They're going to blow up. Cows are just going to start exploding. Mr. Sunshine Baby said Trump is slapping 100% tariffs on Canadian cars. Man, we're forked. He's going to keep hammering us with tariffs, and the final nail in the coffin will eventually be our defence budget. I predict Trump will announce to the world that Canada is no longer under American protection, and that will be catastrophic. Where was this announced? He said he could slap 100% tariff in Canadian cars. Not that he's going to. Perhaps I missed the headline where he said he's going to do this, but I believe he was just talking rhetoric. Very unlikely that he would do that before the 25% first. Careful. Oh. And I kind of agree with that too. I don't know about this one. See, I don't know. I haven't seen this either. So don't take everything as gospel because you don't know. Right? We'll see what happens. Mick Amir said any politician that votes against Senator Babbitt's bill to alter the Australian Constitution to protect and enshrine freedom of speech is the enemy of the people. That's how clear-cut it is. So Senator Babbitt is trying to put in the Australian Constitution freedom of speech. So hopefully he gets somewhere with it. Do you really think he will? I don't know. Elon Musk said, at this point, I'm 100% certain in the magnitude of fraud in federal entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, disability, exceeds the combined sum of every private scam you've ever heard by far, and it's not even close. This is amazing. Okay, Polybard said, if I wake up tomorrow and I've only got 500 followers after posting this, I seriously do not give a single solitary airborne fuck. In fact, I do hope it happens because I will know who respects me and who deserves my respect. This isn't even about me, not one bit. It's about principles. So straighten up and pay attention. Some Jews are greedy, controlling bastards, but that doesn't justify blanket Jew hatred. Watch them come and get me now. Some Muslims are terrorists, but that doesn't justify blanket Muslim hatred. Some Christian priests attack some kids, but that doesn't justify blanket Christian hatred. Not all cultures are equal. And it's not racist to agree with that statement. I didn't vote for the WEF, so they can go get fucked. I didn't vote for the UN, so they can go get fucked. I didn't vote for the WHO, so they can go get fucked. Most politicians are bad, and that mostly does justify blanket politician hatred. But don't blind yourself to the good ones. And I so wish I could give you all eternally wise advice on how to identify them if they like this tweet. Might be a clue. My body, my fucking choice. You'll have an abortion or refuse a jab whenever the hell you feel like it, and you can just go cope. If you disagree, I'm going to drink myself to cirrhosis and demand you donate me a liver until you understand that my health should never be your responsibility. This issue seriously pisses me off. Both sides of it seem less morally pure than me, and I'm not morally pure at all. There's two genders where sexually dysmorphic species cope and learn to use the right bathroom. Shit leftards are evil and should be shunned, shamed, defunded, not doxed. We're much better than that, and memed until they cry. And then memes must be created about them crying. Hitler was a dickhead. Don't pretend he wasn't. If you think Hitler did some good things in principle, then you can explain why without invoking his name. Principles supersede identity. That is all, and thank you for attending my TED Talk. His TED Talk. Who is it? Polybard. I think it's his TED Talk. So there you go. And I agree with that. You got good and bad in all of our cultures and society. Eric Matheny said our FBI killed a man's wife, child and dog at Ruby Ridge, murdered women and children at Waco, allowed countless mass shooters to fly below the radar, used 26 informants to trap Americans for political gain. Worthless organisation. Hope cash turns it around. They're putting that off, aren't they? They're really putting it off. Craig Kelly said, oh, yeah, is that where I'm at? I'm at the end, yes, no, but I've got a lot more under here that I didn't do yesterday because I didn't get to them because why? Because the plumbers were on their way. Okay, where was I up to? I had done that one. Had I done this one? Yes. Have we done this one? Probably not. Liz Churchill said, everyone feels this. There should be a class action lawsuit. Congress should be in court right now explaining this spending and where it went and why. There is no reason they should be allowed to serve. They should be tried for treason.
We should be starting a class action lawsuit against Congress. Literally, they should be in court right now explaining themselves to what this spending is, where did the money go, and why. We as citizens pay in astronomical amounts of taxes every year, to the point where people are struggling to survive, right? And still required to pay taxes. And with that being said, I just don't understand why we don't start a class action lawsuit against Congress. They should be responsible for this. They're the ones that are putting through these ridiculous 400- or 500-page bills that no one has time to read and forcing people to approve them. They should be in court explaining where every single dollar is going. There's no reason that they should be allowed to still serve. They should all be gone, and they should literally be tried for treason. They're taking our tax dollars and spending them in other countries, but they refuse to take care of home. They're taking our tax dollars and spending it in other countries, but then the IRS sends us bills telling us that we'll be jailed if we don't pay our dues. And mind you, most of them enter Congress in middle class, and they leave millionaires. It's insider trading at its worst, and treason. They should all be in jail.
There you go. Yeah, I think most people agree. The only thing I don't agree with is driving and looking at your camera. Just drive, look straight ahead, love, and yeah, don't worry about looking at the camera. You can still say it. Okay. Clandestine said Homan pretty bluntly lays out how the Democrats intentionally made sure the borders were open and illegal aliens could flood the country so they could cheat in elections. The director of ICE is just casually accusing the Dems of treason on national TV. Okay, I've got to turn the volume down before I do this one. I'm sure it's going to be louder than the last one. Let's have a listen.
So President Trump deserves credit, not just securing that border, but in saving lives by securing that border. And the Biden administration could have did the same thing. They knew how to do it. They just didn't want to do it because they undid everything Trump did. They would have just kept everything in place, would never have this issue we had. But why would they purposely unsecure a border? Because it's not incompetence, it's not mismanagement. They knew exactly what they were doing because they wrote over 90 executive orders destroying everything. It gave us the most secure border in my lifetime, my career. I think it's for a lot of reasons. I think there's some of them really truly believe in open borders. There should be no borders. Some think there's a future political benefit by these millions being future Democratic voters. But we don't even have to get there because they also overturned the Trump census rule, which means millions of illegal aliens will be counted in the next census in sanctuary cities, which would result in more House seats for Democrats. They sold this country out for future political power. So President Trump deserves credit.
Okay, there you go. Pretty much accusing him of treason on national TV. Nick Sautor said, breaking Tom Homan says DOJ has seemed to have identified those who leaked the details of ICE raids and they originated from the FBI. Homan says they will lose their job, their pension, they're going to go to jail. Charge them with treason. Go, guys, go. Hey, J1, he going? Deb J, he going? Paranormal Oz, he going? Have I missed anyone? I think I'm right. Okay, Merch says, this man says we need more people in government who aren't politicians. Elon Musk is not a politician. Donald Trump is not a politician. It takes people that ain't in that circle to bust the bubble. 100% spot on, my brother. Get rid of these lifer politicians. President Trump needs to get the GOP to enact term limits once and for all. Let's have a listen. Oh, it didn't click.
I only need 15 seconds. Elon Musk is not a politician. Donald Trump is not a politician. It takes people that ain't in the circle to bust the bubble.
That was it. Short and sweet. Very well done. Takes people who aren't in this circle. Yep. Politicians are like sperm. 1 in a million turn out to be an actual human being. Oh, oh dear. George said, President Trump says he's about to activate Elon Musk and his Doge dogs to look into the waste and fraud at the Pentagon. We're going to find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud and abuse. It's about to go down. Let's go. The Pentagon's going to be audited. Ian Yeager said, breaking President Trump permits Elon Musk and Doge to audit the CIA. Okay, so there's CIA. Derek Evans said Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin announces a class action suit on behalf of all Americans against Donald Trump and Elon Musk alleging breach of American data by Doge. He's not suing on my behalf. In fact, I want to countersue for Democrats preventing Doge from doing their job. Oh, this is funny. David J. Harris Jr. said what Doge is doing is not only an accountant's dream, but every American that distrusts big government's dream. Let's have a listen.
Y'all, Doge is an accountant's biggest dream to go into the government and go through every single piece of dollar and tell the American people where it's going. This is commendable. From an accountant standpoint, I'm like, nobody has ever told us where our tax dollars were going. They told us what we wanted to hear. They didn't necessarily tell us what we needed to hear. And now that we're in this position to where they're telling us what we need to hear, and me just viewing the documentation and seeing where this money has been going, I don't understand why people aren't outraged. This is our money. We spend our life paying taxes, and this is where they decide to spend it? Ridiculous.
There you go. Just behind Trump. Okay, Doge designer said President Trump on Department of Government Efficiency. We literally started off with 14 or 15-year-old geniuses. Now we have 100 young geniuses. Oh, sorry, no, not 14, 15-year-olds. 14 or 15 young geniuses. Now we have 100 young geniuses. And what's happened? People are calling up from all over the country wanting to help Elon Musk. Well done. Pixie said Republicans in Congress need to develop a smooth process of impeaching activist judges fast so this unconstitutional cancer within the judicial branch can finally be cut out. 2, increase DOJ staff if Pam Bondi determines she needs more resources temporarily to deal with the lawfare. 3, triple the ICE staff resources by deputising former military or other qualified citizens until the invaders are removed. There you go. This one I'm going to have to do on Rumble. Oh, I've got a whole I should open a folder for Rumble. I might have to do that after this. Sudden and unexpected said, Pfizer Super Bowl ads try to go after people's emotions by using a little boy who's fighting the big C. Ironically, thousands have died of big C caused by certain procedures, maybe, which destroyed the immune system needed. I don't know. Okay, ask your doctor. I don't know. I have to say that, or YouTube's going to get rid of me. After they've made billions, they are portraying themselves as saviors. Okay? Okay. Has anyone ever heard of this? I'm going to have to do a special Rumble video. Might have to be tomorrow because I do have a lot of things to do today, including going out and getting the chickens what they need. HealthBot said histotripsy. Okay, I'm gonna hang on. Give me a sec. I'm gonna put this to the top just by bookmarking a comment. Okay. So I can do that on Rumble. That looks very interesting though. It looks like a sound waves. Holy guacamole. Okay, interesting. Okay, sudden and unexpected. They are blaming pollution, yet they are still baffled. Patients who've never smoked now account for a great number of lung cancer cases than those with a history of smoking, according to a global study. I'm not sure, but, there you go. I've suspected this for many years. But anyway, yep. Let's not worry about that. Go see a doctor if pain persists, please. I am not a health professional. TDS therapist said, gee, what a precedent that was. Oh, okay, let's read what TDS therapist said. No? I mean, what he's responding to. Kyle Cheney said, just in, USAID employees say the administration is not complying with Judge Nichols' order to prevent the immediate dismantling of the agency. They say employees he ordered reinstated have not been, and other actions cut against his order. TDS therapist said, gee, what a precedent that was set. Joe Biden said, the Supreme Court tried to block me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me. I've relieved student debt for over 5 million Americans. I'm going to keep going. So the precedent was set, okay? Just so you know. Unacceptable Canadian girl said, I just looked up the largest sponsors for the Canadian and American Big C societies. Now I understand why they're hiding things. Okay. What's this up to now? Yes, Canada voter, 55%. Yes, USA voter, 12.9%. No Canada voter, 21%. And no US voter, 9.7%. In wanting Canada to become the 51st state. Interesting. Okay, concerned citizens said surge in lung cancer amongst non-smokers. I wonder why. This is from the Mail Online Health. Okay. Yep, there you go. Ian Miles Chong said Tucker Carlson, the same tactic that USAID uses to destabilise governments around the world are being deployed against Americans right now. Insurrection Barbie said, send this to every Democrat who cries about USAID. Majoring in jihad, USAID funded college tuition for jihadists who became central figure in Al-Qaeda. Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? The Analyzer said, news update said, big parliament adjourned as Nishikant Dubey drops a USAID Congress bombshell. Did USAID funnel 500, I don't know what it is, crores to Soros Open Society Foundation to break India? Did Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, Sam Pitroda and Zakat Foundation receive money? Look at their frustration. So even India. Insurrection Barbie said, read the Middle East Forum report, link below. USAID funded every terrorist organisation in the Middle East. From India to Gaza to Southeast Asia and everything in between. How the hell did we allow this to happen with our tax dollars? Terror finance at the State Department and USAID. Wow. Interesting. Allegedly, okay? Until proven fact, it's all alleged. Just for YouTube. Now, let me see if... I remember someone correcting me the other day. Kanakawa? Did I say it right? The Great? Thread, I dug up archived USAID-funded interviews annual reports. Here's how this non-profit played a crucial role in regime change across Eastern Europe in service of NATO expansion, then turned its tactics inward, calling for censorship in the West. A deep dive. Internews, heavily funded by USAID, $470 million, spent decades building media networks, training journalists and promoting free speech in former Soviet states. But their mission wasn't neutral. It was about shaping narratives to support NATO expansion. Let's start in 2001. The 2001 Internews annual report states Internews is one of the more successful agents of change in the former Soviet Union, the Washington Post. They work to establish independent media in Russia, Ukraine, Georgia, Serbia and beyond, fueling the decline of Moscow's influence. Sorry, guys. Internews wasn't just promoting free press. Their own documents admit Internews does not produce television and radio shows. It's more interested in using broadcast media as a lever to affect social and political transformation. In the 1990s, Internews partnered with the Soros Foundation to fund media organisations in post-Soviet nations, playing a pivotal role in the colour revolutions of the 2000s in Serbia, Georgia and Ukraine. Their goal to steer these countries towards NATO and Western control. During Georgia's Rose Revolution, Internews funded and trained journalists at Rustavi 2 TV, the leading channel driving the uprising. Media was very good in informing the public about what was going on and had a huge role in calling people onto the streets, Mark Brennan, former Internews director for Georgia. Internews Annual Report 2004. A non-violent uprising in November of 2003 led to the resignation of the president of Georgia in what became known as the Rose Revolution. One of the star players in this historic event was the Gutsy, independent television station, Rustavi 2, as the only broadcaster willing to stand up to the government and inform the public about vote fraud and protests that followed. Rustavi 2 helped catalyse the mass mobilisation of the population. Since starting work in Georgia in 1994, Internews has provided extensive support to Rustavi 2, including training staff in investigative journalism and news reporting skills and providing management, technical and legal advice. When the government unsuccessfully tried to shut down the station in 1995 and again in 1996, Internews Georgia organised local and international campaigns in support of the station. In July of 2004, Rustavi 2 became an associate member of Internews International. By 2003 in Ukraine, Internews had conducted 220 media training programs, trained over 2,800 journalists, produced 220-plus TV programs and 1,000-plus radio programs, funded Telekritika, an online outlet central to the 2004 Orange Revolution, a result, Western-aligned Ukraine. By 2005, Internews proudly stated they produced Proyav Shazu, one of Ukraine's most popular TV programs, which highlighted popular demonstrations against election fraud during the Orange Revolution. They weren't just reporting the revolution, they were fueling it. By 2007, Internews had trained 60,000 journalists worldwide, established 2,500 plus independent media outlets, reached an audience of nearly 1 billion people, advocated for media laws in 21 countries, operated in 70 countries with offices in 42 cities. This was media influence at an unprecedented scale. The Washington Post described them as one of the more successful agents of change in the former Soviet Union. But was this really about democracy or about advancing US and NATO geopolitical goals through information warfare? Let's step back to their origins. In the 1980s, Internews helped facilitate US-Soviet space bridges, live uncensored TV dialogues during the Cold War. By the 1990s, they pivoted to supporting US-funded media in post-Soviet states to counter Moscow's narrative. Internews even admitted its role in paving the way for NATO. In May 1990, Internews co-sponsored a meeting to discuss the future architecture of Europe, including the question of allowing a unified Germany into NATO. This meeting, held at Krotov Castle, was organised with the Soros-funded Institute for East-West Studies. Fast forward to 2016, after Trump's election and Brexit, Internews pivoted. The same NGO that once championed free speech as a weapon against foreign governments began to call free speech online dangerous and pushed for censorship in the West. Internews CEO Jean Bourgault pushed for a global advertising exclusion list to censor disinformation at the World Economic Forum, which I played this video the other day. This coincided with the ex-advertising boycott targeting Elon Musk's platform, which had been at the forefront of defending free speech online. Internews, now collaborating with the USAID-funded World Economic Forum, shifted its focus to advertising boycotts to control online discourse. What was once used to overthrow foreign governments was now turned against American citizens. Their new narrative, the Internet. The Internet must be policed to stop misinformation and disinformation. The same information warfare they used abroad was now turned inward, targeting political dissidents, alternative media and anyone challenging establishment narratives. They didn't stop with media manipulation abroad, they brought those tactics home. This raises critical questions. Did USAID Internews regime change efforts actually help the people in these countries or the American people? Or did they serve NATO expansion, lucrative defence contracts and Western corporate interests at the expense of the people? Because when you look at the results, it's clear. Russia and China grew closer, accelerating a multipolar world. Ukraine became a battleground between Western interests and Russia, devastating the country and risking a nuclear war. Eastern European nations were pulled into NATO and EU structures, often at the cost of their own sovereignty. American taxpayers funded this but never saw any direct benefit, only endless wars and skyrocketing military spending. The irony is staggering. Internews was founded during the Cold War to foster open dialogue between the US and Soviet Union. It was meant to reduce hostilities between East and West. Instead, US aid and Western elites transformed it into a propaganda machine for NATO expansion, which ignited the Second Cold War. But here's where it gets worse. Oh my goodness, really? It's bad enough that US aid-funded media manipulation helped expand NATO, escalate global tensions and contribute to war, but after Trump and Brexit, when this same public-private partnership turned inward, censoring political opposition and online free speech in the West, it lost all legitimacy. Why should American taxpayers fund organisations calling for censorship of American taxpayers? Why is a foreign-focused regime change machine now deciding what Americans can and cannot say online? The reality is USA didn't just fund foreign interventions. They helped create a global information control apparatus, one that can be turned on any population at any time. What started in Serbia, Georgia and Ukraine came home to target Brexit supporters, MAGA voters and dissenting voices on X. First, they protected democracy abroad, then they protected democracy by censoring you. The final question. Who has really benefited from US aid funding internews across Eastern Europe? The people in these countries? American taxpayers or NATO, the defence contractors and Western elites? At what point do Americans start questioning why they're funding this? Because the US aid bill, it exceeds $40 billion a year, funding not just foreign regime change and domestic censorship, but also the Wuhan Lab, the World Economic Forum, and the reignition of the Cold War, and the costs keep rising. Archive 2006 Internews website, free media lays groundwork for Orange Revolution. Internews Ukraine enters its second decade in a wave of success. Rustavi 2 Rose Revolution, and there you go. There's all the bits and pieces you need. Wow. Hang on, there's another one. Internews founder David Hoffman, New York Times Archive 2006, World Bank should link loans to press freedom. Internews Kiev Post Archive 2006, US to keep providing aid to Ukrainian media. US Ambassador to Ukraine John Herbst told a conference in Kiev April 10 that the US will allocate $2.3 million to support the growth of objective sources of news in Ukraine in 2006. Herbst credited the authorities who came to power on the crest of Ukraine's 2004 Orange Revolution, noting that journalists are no longer being killed and law enforcement agencies aren't harassing them anymore. The US will continue funding the development of internet sites and special reports on economic and social subjects, Herbst said. The Kiev branch of Internews, a US-based non-governmental organisation, and Ukraine's Centre for Ukrainian Reform Education have received multi-million-dollar grants from US aid over several years. Internews is mostly involved in providing things like training for journalists, media lawyers and managers, plus legal aid and legislative assistance. This training and assistance is implemented by Ukrainian partner organisations like Kiev NGO Telekritika. Telekritika, which offers a website and monthly journal, analyses media and conducts sociological surveys, radio shows and roundtables on media issues. Geez, it goes deep, doesn't it? Supported primarily by Internews as well as US-based National Endowment for Democracy, Telekritika receives an average of $100,000 a year in funding, said Natalia Ligacheva, who heads the NGO. Internews also provides some grants for equipment purchases, production of radio and TV programs, and the kind of monitoring and research work mentioned by Ambassador Herbst. Ivancheva said that grants or direct financial assistance to media-related projects conducted by Ukrainian NGOs are allocated on a competitive basis through the so-called Open Media Fund, which is jointly sponsored and implemented by the International Resistance Foundation, part of the Soros Foundation network. Founded and chaired by billionaire and philanthropist George Soros and USAID funded Internews. The US Embassy in Kiev also awards grants directly, which are approved by a board. USAID's main focus is development of regional media, said Ivan Chiva. Indirectly or directly, the agency supports 20-30 local radio and TV broadcasters and 15 to 16 local newspapers. The Center for Ukrainian Reform Education, USAID's second major recipient of funding, concentrates on public education and press events through its 25 regional centers. Is that the end? No? Internews Archive 2001, Ukrainian broadcasting cities where Internews supports non-governmental media stations. Okay, 203 TV, 126 radio, 50 million TV audience, 18 million radio, and 1,900 trainees. Internews Archive, 2006, USAID, Insight Nurturing Watchdogs of Democracy. USAID Internews funded Telekritika, founder of Natalia Ligacheva, helped spearhead the Orange Revolution's journalist movement. There we go. Thank God that's over. Yeah, it's only the tip. I realise. I know. Oh, wow. How many times do I have to go back? So did I pronounce it right? Is it Kenakoa? Is that how I say it? Someone corrected me the other day. And I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Okay. There we go. That was quite amazing. Repost it. Okay, and I think... Oh, no, I'm still going. Insurrection Barbie said USAID funded state-run media publication Politico just moved to unseal the grand jury testimony of Kash Patel after Democrats stalled his confirmation vote so they could leak a bunch of things they think they could damage him and convince squishy Republicans to vote no. And that is how the insidious cancer that is USAID works. They fund all the attacks on Trump during his first term too. Doge News said abolish USAID. Questionable USAID obligations, $31.5 million to a consultant to help USAID employees with counselling, organisational resilience, wellness and work life. You have got to be fucking joking. That is ridiculous. To help, okay, so they employed a consultant to help the USAID employees with counselling, organisational resilience, wellness and work life. Sounds like some hairy-fairy shit there. Wow. Steve said only criminals are upset about the money laundering scheme known as USAID. It's painfully obvious. Then we got Virgil L. Walker saying Dr. Steve Caudle has either received some money from USAID or funds from another source. He looks to be reading a prepared statement to his congregation as he calls for violence. Is this something a pastor should do?
And in this nation, I'm worried that we are on the verge of bloodshed. This is an attempt to take us back to a day that we do not want to go and we will not go. Therefore, there will be conflict. I pray that the peace of God will win out and overcome the madness that is attempting to take over this nation. And I will say to you, beloved, no one likes violence, but sometimes violence is necessary. When Elon Musk forces his way into the United States Treasury and threatens to steal your personal information and your Social Security check, there is the possibility of violence. Sometimes the devil will act so ugly that you have no other choice but to get violent and fight. Well, someone might say, now, Reverend, you shouldn't be talking about violence. This isn't the Christian thing to do. Well, I will say, why not talk this way? Because Jesus did. Jesus said in this key verse, didn't he? The kingdom of heaven suffers what? Violence. And the who? The violent take it by force. The kingdom of God is a war zone. It is a battle.
Well, that's calling for violence, mate. Seriously. Woke preacher clips. Jeez. Think he gets paid by them? I think some of them get paid in roundabout ways too, so they don't get it straight from USAID, so they can say, I didn't take any money from USAID, but they're paid by non-governmental organisations that USAID funds. Yeah, exactly, Deb. Jesus never incited violence. Diligent Denizen said Justin, USAID staffers show up for work today to Washington headquarters were immediately turned away after the Trump administration stripped the aid agency of its lease. The judge ordered they keep their jobs, so Trump takes their workplace. Genius. So Trump is not doing what the judge says because it's stupid anyway. That stupid judge has no right anyway. Okay, and we've got another huge one here. How long have I been going? 1 hour, 20 minutes. Oh, there goes the short stream. Tyler Winklevoss said, has anyone taken a look at what countries received USAID money while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State and lined this information up with what countries also donated to the Clinton Global Initiative? It would be interesting to understand how much of this money was round-tipped and laundered back to the Clintons. That's how it works. Eric Matheny said the veil has been lifted on the great Ponzi scheme that is the US tax system. Congressmen make $174,000 a year and turn it into 30, 40 million because those bullshit appropriations like we see with USAID is a very clever way to launder tax money. American taxpayers are fraud victims. Okay, and holy smokes, Stephen Weston Lensman said, holy smokes, Stephen M. just took a flamethrower to corrupt USAID. President Trump's cutting off a slush fund to the organisation that hate and hurt America. This is straight fire. USAID was a slush fund, first of all, for left-wing projects around the globe, like gender surgeries around the world, we know that, diversity, equity, inclusion policies, crazy Green New Deal, climate scams, and every other lunatic left-wing project that is bankrupting this country. But even beyond that, it was funding an army of left-wing activists, these NGOs, non-governmental organisations. They get billions and billions of dollars and they use that money to then infiltrate corporate America, to then infiltrate the public sector, to then resettle, for example, at taxpayer expense, millions of illegal aliens into the country to drive racist equity policies, to drive radical left gender policies. And so what we've learned is that the left's this mammoth left-wing power structure plus left-wing media. It wasn't organic. It wasn't created naturally. It was funded by taxpayer dollars. And that's why they're screaming and screeching so loud now, is because President Trump is cutting off the slush fund to the organisations that hate and hurt America. Okay. And it's pissing people off that Chelsea Clinton's foundation, funded annually by USAID with allocations made during the Obama administration, aimed to provide afternoon meals to children in Africa, India and Bangladesh. However, recent data shows only 11,886 meals have been served, suggesting each meal costs around $1,410. Financial overview: net worth $70 million, husband's net worth $45 million, inheritance $52 million, USAID funding $3.9 million a year, real estate $25 million, monthly expenses $100,000, car collection 8 vehicles. Critics argue despite these resources, the foundation's impact appears minimal. Despite all these resources, and Chelsea Clinton's rich because of it. This is our taxpayer money. Yeah, you want to see them held to account, don't you? Okay, we got that. MTG calling out Samantha Power. I'm going to try and go over some things really quickly. Oilfield Rando said, if the only thing in keeping your country from a 6-fold increase in HIV is massive USAID funding, maybe you need to go back to being colonised. And I believe he's talking to African countries here. And no, it's not racist. He's just saying if you think your country is going to go to a 6-fold increase in HIV just because you lose USAID funding, you have a problem. Jim Ferguson said USAID Truman Show exposed. Now it's being shut down. Mike Benz is going hard, and everyone's like he won't commit suicide. Put it that way. Mike Benz has uncovered a scandal so massive it defies belief. US aid wasn't foreign aid. It was a front for CIA-backed regime change, election interference and globalist corruption. Billions funneled into covert operations, censorship networks and propaganda, all under the lie of democracy promotion. US aid wasn't about helping nations, it was about controlling them, and worse, it was all funded by American taxpayers. But now, thanks to Doge, Elon Musk and Trump, the Truman Show is over. US aid's being dismantled, its shady operations shut down, and the deep state is losing one of its most powerful tools of control. The swamp is being drained, the regime change industry is collapsing, the truth is coming out, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. Nothing can stop what's coming. C3 said your house has been repeatedly broken into for years and looted. You install cameras and finally catch the thief. The thief goes on TV and complains that you installed cameras and caught them stealing from you. This is the USAID employee going on TV to complain about Doge. And Health Ranger says all the people who both sent and received illegitimate USAID funds should be criminally prosecuted starting right now. Okay, I think we know most of all this now. I think I can stop here. I'll read the comments and then I'll have to go because my little chickens need some attention. Okay, we had Luna and Deb J and Deba and Paul and Sherry and Dealey and Mrs. Out to... Oh, shit, it's jumped. There you go. How far back can I go? Oh, pretty far back. Okay, where am I? Everyone's saying hello at the beginning. Sybil said, sorry to hear of the trouble, Hev. Oh, that's okay. It's just a matter of what they're going to do about it. That's what I'm a little bit worried about, but hey. You know, the guy said, look, if they don't fix it, it's just going to happen again. And they need to dig out the whole front yard. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen. Sherry said, I just got my great-granddaughter last Tuesday. They are living with me. I love it. How's your kiddos? Oh, God, love you, Sherry. And Deb said, me too, when I get blood taken. Do you white out, do you? Oh, Deb said, I do hope your grandson will be okay. Hey, Stuart, how you going? Luna said, all kiddos are going well. Little Jade has had bad hay fever, but at least she finds sneezing hilarious. Luna said she laughs so much she gives herself the hiccups. Oh, God love her. And Star Child. And Joanne said, hi, all Gen X are in trouble as we are known to hurt feelings. Sorry, dude, it's the truth, yep. Joanne said he's quick to show his face. How much, mate, did you lose? Sybil said, hi there, Deb and everyone in the chat. Joanne said, did you watch the news saying they won't do anything to nurses but will question them? Watch this space. I bet nothing if it was an Aussie in jail now. Yeah, if it was an Aussie, they'd be in jail by now. They're going to do nothing to those people. When really, if that was true, they should be deported. Charged and deported. Hey, Fred, how you going? Deb said hello. I'm just trying to get past all the hellos. Randy, Kevin, how you going, Kevin? Randy? Star Child said, I don't trust pulpit. Lol. Deb said, is war's a way to cull populations? Yep. Star Child said, I don't trust Polly wants a cracker. Graham. No, I don't either. But he did say it. I listened to the video. Sybil said, the judges are all owned. They should just be ignored. Eric said, hello. It's good to see Eric. After all this time, Eric was with me when I first started making videos. A long, long time ago. No, well, not that long. 4 or 5 years ago. 5, 6 years? I don't know. Randy said, judges in corporate law, not law of the land. Eric said, hi, Hev. Randy said, judges rule over you all, capital letter strawman. Yep. Joanne said, good to see you on here. Hope the loo is fixed. Yeah, for now. For now. It was more that the front drain was overflowing and it just looked a bit like, I was thinking that looks like sewage. And it was. There you go. Out to lunch said, diatomaceous earth for the mites, right? Yep. Eric said, Ron Watkins, 15 minutes of fame. There you go. Randy said, no shit, government corrupted. I hear you, Randy. Don't you worry. I don't know if you watched the rest of my video the other day, Randy, but the way you said see you next week, the X was left out, right? And it looked like you were saying see you in the NT, if you know what I mean. C-U-N-T, you know? So I had a bit of a joke about that the other day. Paranormal Oz said, fuck, that's so scary, those doctors saying that shit. What the fuck? It's disgusting. Yeah, Paranormal Oz said that's correct, Randy. I've been studying sovereignty for 15 years. Deb J said, I was raised on a farm and never remember cows farting. Deb said, stupid spell check. I got what you meant. Yep. Eric said, smell check. Paranormal Oz said, how is everyone doing today? I'm on my way to work. And Eric said, have a good day at work. Deb said, yes, my family had cows on their farm and horses. We lived in the middle of a farm with cows. I just don't understand the crap. Eric said, you must have had the same breed of cows I did. I think they call them fartless. Deb said, they do big poops, but no farts. Eric said, oh, you must mean Chartlays. J1 popped in. How you going, J1? Deb said, we've had different cow breeds with same goat, different kinds and different kinds of sheep, and even had pigs deep at the back of the property. Eric said, loads of piglets, 10 sows, no waiting. Eric said, my kids never ate store meat until they left for college. Oh, that's good. Deb said, here comes the fear for those that have been corrupt. Eric said, hunters become the hunted. Exactly, Eric. Paranormal Oz said, thanks, Eric. I'll be mowing 10 lawns in the sun. Oh, Paranormal Oz. I wish you all the energy you need and, yeah, God love you. Randy said, frequency break C, big C. Eric said, youch, I'm glad I'm past that. Sybil said, thanks for all your hard work, Hev. Randy said, smoke pot, not the doctor. Eric said, no more pills, Randy. Randy said, no 51 state, they should be our next province. Eric said, eh? Randy said, oh. Eric said, eh? Deb said, is vaping giving lung? See? I don't think it is. Well, it might be. I'm not saying it's not, but other things are. Well, okay, have they done any long-term studies on air conditioning? Have they? I'm just asking. What about the chemtrails? What about some procedures people might have had to have? Deb said it's the fog. Deb said Australia has to be 52nd state of America. Eric said lol. Randy said it's part of the NWO plans. Yeah, there's a new NWO now. Another new one. We either go down the one they want or we go down this one. Paranormal Oz said I'm vaping, but I have a healthy layer of tar in my lungs, so I'm okay. Randy said, hit the like for Hev. Thank you, Randy. Paranormal Oz said, I find it better than smoking. So many durries. Yeah, so many cigarettes, yeah. Paranormal Oz said, I'm down to 2 cigarettes a day. Well done. Eric, durries means cigarettes. J1 said, my grandma used to call cigarettes coffin nails. Deb said, well done, sweetie, Paranormal Oz. Paranormal Oz said, durries is Aussie slang for cigarettes. Paranormal Oz said, breakfast done after dinner durries are still a must. Deb said, making us sick has been going on for longer than we realise. Randy said, yeah, since the Bible. Luna said, just finished making myself early lunch. Oh, God love you. Deb said, I've given up long ago, but there are some times I would still like a smoke when I sit and plan my activities, big jobs. Yes, I hear you, Deb. Bloody hell, I'm having trouble with mine. I'm trying my hard. I'm trying. Probably not my hardest, actually. Eric said, Kanakawa has done his homework. Only the tip, Hev. Yes, it's only the tip of the iceberg. I know there's a whole lot more. It'll be coming out as I speak right now. J1, I might have to change the day for the call-in on Rumble this week too. I might have to do it on your Friday, my Saturday stream, because I'm having my little granddaughter over again on Saturday night, so they can all go to the football. Okay. J1 said, Deb, yep, I have a smoke and design street machines and 3-story container homes. Soaks up time and I have come up with some great creations. J1 said, kind of gone off container homes these days, though. Yeah. Yeah, Randy, I like a real house. Yep. Eric said, coming soon. Where have all the reps and senators gone? Oh, I forgot they were ill. They sure are. I'm waiting for the that weekend, you know, that where they take themselves out, that one. Deb said, Jesus never incites violence. Eric said, disgusting. Oh, guilty of several crimes. Many do. Back to Clinton's Chelsea wedding, new home, 3 million, 10 million. Yeah, I know. Randy said pitchforks. Fred, how you going, Fred? Good to see ya. And Sybil's put a tree with a chicken. Yep, chickens. I've got to look after my chickens. Deb said, hello, Fred. Deb said, they better be on the same hit list as us with loss of free speech. Eric said, got to run. Good night all. Have a good one, Eric. Deb said, I pray for you, Hev, that it all works out. Deb said, thank you for being here with us, Eric. Deb said, how you meet that you had delivered tastes. Luna said, wow, I just realised how long I've known you, Hev. It hasn't been that long, though. 9+ years? Wow. I don't know. I don't know how long I've been on here for. I keep getting deleted, but I've been here for a while. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. I will upload this to Rumble. I've just uploaded yesterday's one this morning to Rumble. This one will be uploaded to Rumble, and I think on Saturday Friday, Saturday, I'm going to have to do the call-in show with all these posts waiting for Rumble to be done on Rumble. I'll do them over there then. Oh, you knew me when I had Facebook? Yep. There you go. Okay, guys. Hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. Take care. It's going to start pouring out soon. It's going to go from a drip to a flood, information-wise. Okay, have a good one, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.